Today we're going to make Cornish pasties. People have been asking about us doing this Cornish pasty thing.
Makes a nice pasty.
Yeah, we had pasty, homemade pasty last night. And Andy cooked one for Will.
I'm hungry, but I can't stop eating it.
And it's his best pasty he's ever had. I don't know whether he's just saying that,
From
but
the butcher's, that was. That was that butcher's in...
Salty.
he said it was really nice.
What butcher's was that?
Oh, Joseph Morris.
Family butcher's.
Gorgeous best pasty I've tasted in a long pasty's right from the shop. I use a big thick crust and dry. You're into it like
Yeah, it's all
cavernous.
pasty. It's all like the pastry.
It's all pastry, but that pasty last night.
It's not even good pastry.
No.
Brown paper and foil. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stops
Like a little takeaway, isn't it?
Amazing. It's red hot.
And how to make pastry as well. Because a lot of people don't know how to make pastry. This pastry you can use in Cornish pasties and in pies. So we'll go through that with you. But at the moment we're going to make the mix for the Cornish pasties because we have to let it marinate for either overnight or for a couple of hours. So we're going to make that now, mix that up, and then we're going to set it to one side to marinate, and then later on we'll make the pastry. So I've just got a couple of onions here. You need to chop it up quite fine, the onions. It's a secret recipe, so you guys are lucky really. I don't tell many people how to do this. So we're just going to cut these fairly finely. Don't have to be exact, just like that will do. And then in a pot or a bowl or mixing bowl. If you're on a narrowboat, use whatever you got. Sometimes I use saucepans to make or mix things in. So we're just peeling a potato here. You can put as much potato or as little potato in as you want. Normally we put swede in it, but we went out yesterday and we couldn't find the swede, so the main ingredient in it is onion, steak, skirt steak's the best, or mince, a good quality mince, potato, swede, but we're just going to make it without the swede today, which isn't a problem. So we thinly slice this potato like this. Sometimes it's hard to cut like that, so I just turn it onto its side, flat bottom. This should be plenty of potato. Nice and thin because, just show you the way, how you want it. It's not diced in the Cornish pasty, it's like that. So nice and thin but square like that, and that makes it cook easier because you've got a bigger surface area than a little diced cube. Well, that's the way they do it. So like I say, the only thing missing is swede. A lot of people don't like swede, so you don't have to put swede in it. Sometimes I've actually used sweet potato in it instead. But I don't think you can beat proper Cornish pasty with a swede in it. Nice. Nice potatoes these are. These are Morris Piper, aren't they, Dan? Okay, that's our potato in there. Potato and onion in there, that's it at the moment. Salt and pepper it. Plenty of salt. Lots of pepper. This is one of the main little secret things with pasties. I have lots of pepper in it. Black pepper's the best I find. So with a pasty you get that warm background flavour, it's the pepper that's doing that. Got some steak in here. Nice bit of steak. As I say, skirts. Skirt's what they traditionally use, but whatever steak you can get, or mincemeat. And then we're just going to cut the steak up into little chunks. I do a mixture, I do all different size meats, and then you get a nice consistency. but fairly small you want it, because you want it to cook, but you don't want it to overcook and go too chewy, so you want it just right. So we've chopped our steak up, guys, nice and small, not too big. You can make a batch of pasties up. If there's only 3 of us, make a few more up and put them in the freezer. Get them out for tea one overnight as well. So we're just almost to the bottom of this now. Like I say, you can use mincemeat. You can make vegetarian pasties. One day we'll do a vegetarian pasty video. That's really easy. You can mix this now with your just a fork. Remember, we're on a narrowboat, so we've got to use whatever we got. We've got all sorts of equipment on here, but we're just going to use what normal people, or most people have lying about in the narrowboat. So in here we've got onion, sliced potato like that, steak, or you can use mincemeat, and salt and pepper at the moment, and that's it. There's a couple of other things that I add as well, which they do some. The trouble is with a lot of the recipes in Cornwall and Devon, they won't tell you what's in it. But I add a little tiny bit of thyme to mine. I don't put any garlic in it. There's no garlic involved in this. A little bit of thyme. You can use whatever herbs you want. A little bit of parsley. And that's about it. And normally we put swede in it. That's the traditional, but we haven't got any swede, so we're just using what we got. Most people have got potato, an onion, and some kind of meat on the boat. You can use chicken, but I'm making a traditional Cornish pasty. It's not made in Cornwall, it's made on the narrowboat, but it's a pasty.
Oh no, we're on that canal in Bude, aren't we? We're on that canal in Bude.
Yeah, that'd be funny if we were in Bude. So what we're doing, I'm just mixing this up, make sure all the ingredients are together. I'm going to leave that now, and then that'll marinate, and all the flavours will come out and go into the various, like potato and onion. Leave that as long as you can. 3 or 4 hours I'm going to leave that. Sometimes I leave it overnight, make it up the night before, and then we'll get back to you in a minute when we're going to knock the pastry up. Okay, see you in a bit. Make the pastry now, guys. We use a mixture of strong bread flour and plain flour. So everyone's got to watch how we do it now. This is going to be the pastry for the. So that's bread flour, and this is plain flour. We do a mix of both. Salt, nice amount of salt. Mix all that together. Now we use real butter. Alright, first we're going to chop up some butter. A little bit more for that batch. Put that in. So butter first. Make sure you put your butter back in the fridge. See why in a minute.
Go.
What we're going to do now is mix this butter in to make it into almost like breadcrumbs. So we're just breaking it down and sifting it through the flour. This is the get your hands dirty bit, this one. So now it looks like breadcrumbs now rather than just flour. We've worked all that butter into it now. It looks like fine breadcrumbs now. If you find it's a bit too floury, then all you do is just add a bit more butter to it. If it's too squidgy, it all comes together a bit too much. It's not like breadcrumbs, add a bit more flour to it. So now, I'm showing everyone my secrets now, I hate it. Right, now we get some lard. We grate the lard, do a little bit at a time, shake it in, and then I stir it into the flour. Have a little bit of lard, grate some more in, turn it. And sometimes the colder the lard, the better it is. And I stir all that into the pastry, making sure it's not all stuck together. But we still want it in lumps. We don't want to breadcrumb it. We want it in fairly fine little lumps, as you can see, like that. Spread it all in. And it's the same with the butter. You just grate it. Put the butter in. Mix it in. You'll roughly know when there's enough in there. What you're trying to make is like a rough puff pastry. So we're just going to work that in, very lightly work it in. We want all these little bits of butter and lard to consistently be through the whole of the flour. So when you roll it, you get little tiny nodules of butter and lard. Right, so we make sure all that's, we're not working it, all we're doing is just breaking it up. We're not working it in, we're just breaking this up because we worked in the first lot. We just want little tiny nodules of lard and butter. Now we're going to add some cold water. It has to be cold, make sure it's cold. I just wash my hands a minute. So we put some cold water in, but only enough to bring the whole mixture together. So we're starting to bring it together now. I want a little bit more, it's still a bit dry. Bring it together a little bit more, just add a little bit at a time. You only want to just bring it together. Right, that's coming together now. Now we put our hands back in again. Bring it together. We don't want to work this too much, it's not bread. Just want to bring it together. This makes absolutely lovely pastry. This got this recipe in Cornwall. Together, not hard, just brought it together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in the junk drawer and get some cling film. Wrap this in cling film. This has to go in the fridge for about 20 minutes, half an hour to cool down again before we can roll it and use it. So we'll get back to you in a minute. I'm just going to get the pasties rolled out now. This is our pastry made earlier. Really easy, as you could see from the video how to make it. It takes a while to make it, but it's easy enough to do. And keep at it because it's practice at the end of the day. So we're going to roll this out now. Plenty of flour under there because you're going to have little pockets of lard and butter. Cornish way of doing it is this. Yeah, we want it about this sort of thickness, as you can see. What I'm going to do now is another little thing that you do is just fold it. Don't have to, but I like to. Fold it again. And roll it again. Get some air trapped in there. It makes you rough puff pastry then. You can hear it then popping. Just a little bit thinner. I like it quite thick, the pastry. Right, you can use any size plate if you that you want. I got this size. I haven't got my tape measure, but sometimes if I'm going out I use just a slightly smaller plate like that. Because on a narrowboat you haven't got all the equipment, so I just use a plate. This will make, just making a big pasty to show you. You can make smaller ones as well. You can make some that are small for parties. So that's one cut out. The more you roll this, usually the better it gets. It gets more air into it. You go in here, get a brush and a fork and a cup and an egg. And this is for joining it, putting it all together. Stick an egg in there. The oven's on. Got the oven on now. The oven's on at 200 degrees, which sounds hot. But what we're going to do is we're going to seal the pastry first for about 9 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to drop it down to 150, 160. And then what that will do is seal the pastry, and then it will start to cook and penetrate the pasty inside. So we'll give this little egg a little whisk. This is just for sealing it all. 2-minute little whisk. There's your brush. We get some of this lovely, what we prepared earlier. It's been sat for 3 or 4 hours now. And say overnight's even better. Put that in the middle like that. I'm only making 3 pasties today. And then that goes right the way around, not too much. Go right the way around the pasty like that. And that's your pasty. Let's get some more flour down there, because you'll find it will stick otherwise. Yeah, look at that. Right, now we just fold it over into a D shape. We push this down with our fingers, guys. That's it. Then we put another piece, or another little bit of egg yolk, or whisked egg on there, like that. Just enough, not too much again. Now this is the trick. In Cornwall they use their finger, this finger, index finger, and they put that there and they pull that over, pull it out, put that there, pull it over, and then you get a ring. But I mean, I like to do it with my thumb, but I'll show you with the finger way. See it, how I'm folding it over? This takes practice. You've got to keep practicing at this if you want to get it right. There's lots of ways you can turn your finger like that, and then this bit here gets folded underneath like that. And that is it. Now what we're going to do is get a tray. You can either use a tray or you can use a rack. I put a little bit of oil in the tray, any old oil. So it doesn't matter what oil it is, I've just got olive oil there. To grab the nearest one. Baking parchment or greaseproof paper. Is there, just enough for the tray, and then we put that oil around like that, and that keeps your baking parchment down to save it blowing about or moving. That's all the oil's for. And we get our pasty, got that little bit, that fold underneath, that will cook with the pasty like that. That's it, easy as that. With some more of your egg, do the whole thing with egg like that. You can either stab it with a knife like that, that just lets the air out. Use your fork and just prick it like that. And then what I do, added niceness, I put a little tiny bit of sea salt or rock salt over the top like that, and that gives it a nice glaze. Right guys, these have been in the fridge for a little while to cool down again before we put them in the oven. Not all people are going to be able to do that, but just put it in a cool place or put them straight in the oven after you've made them. So the oven's up to temperature. We're going to put them in on a 200 top shelf and leave them for 9 to 10 minutes to go slightly golden brown, and then we'll drop the temperature down to about 150, 160. Thanks for watching our pasty video, and it's a don't buy it, try it video. So it means don't go to the shop and buy it, try it with what you've got on the boat. You can go and watch these. We've got them quite regular. We put them on for our patrons, so if you want to move across to be a patron and support the boat and our journey, that would be great. The pasties take 10 minutes on a high 200 heat, and then you drop it to 150 for about 40 minutes. It's easy as that. Hope to see you again. Bye. Today we're going to make pasties. This is a recipe that I learned while in Cornwall.
Oh, ruined.
Cut. What's that? Oh, someone trying to cruise.
In this weather.
It's not very nice weather for cruising, is it? Very dank. Now we've got some meat in here. What was that?
Whoa, cowboy.
Film him out the window.
Slow down!
What do they say?
I don't know. Go on then.
And then cut. Nice one.
Well, we're waiting.
Oh,
For God's sake.
now we get some. Yeah, I've got loads of lard in it. I keep buying it. I don't know why. Why are you filming it? On the high.
No, just start again.